During Jurgen Klopp's tenure, Liverpool have established themselves as one of the very best sides in Europe. They've won the Premier League and finished as runners-up on 2 occasions. They've also won the Champions League and reached a further 2 finals. But as things stand, their trajectory on and off the pitch seems very different. So, what does the future of Liverpool Football Club look like? When it comes to Jurgen Klopp's managerial career, there is a curious phenomenon. In each instance, he's been at a club for at least 7 years and then left. At Mainz, that was because he'd been picked up by Borussia Dortmund. But at Dortmund, he moved on after things got difficult in the 7th season. And now at Liverpool, he's just moved past the 7th season over the last summer. In both of those recent cases, a similar thing has happened. A formerly great team has come off the rails. For Dortmund, this saw them falling to 7th place in the league and losing in the DFB Pokal final to Wolfsburg. This season, Liverpool are currently 8th in the Premier League with only an outside chance of finishing in the Champions League spots. Why might 7 years be significant in the life cycle of a Klopp team though? The legendary Hungarian coach Béla Guttmann had a theory about this. The 3rd year is fatal, he is famous for saying. Football writer Jonathan Wilson has echoed this idea, claiming that, particularly with hard pressing sides, 3 years is the maximum lifespan. In the case of Klopp, himself an advocate of hard pressing football, his Dortmund and Liverpool teams seem to have gone through 2 life cycles. When it comes to the end of the second, the question seems to have been whether or not Klopp would have the appetite to build again. At this point in time, Klopp seems adamant. Speaking ahead of the Merseyside derby, there was no uncertainty about his position. "I will not and I cannot go," he said. "I have too much responsibility and I want that." But for the club itself, things are less clear. First and foremost, there is a question of ownership. Back in November of 2022, Liverpool owners Fenway Sports Group floated the idea of selling the club, with the suggestion being that they valued their asset at around £4 billion. Since then, however, they have decided it's not the right time to sell the club outright, instead opting to sell a minority stake. If they were to do this, then a proposed stake of around 10–15% would equate to around £400 million and £600 million of investment if the buyers were to accept FSG's valuation. This would achieve 2 things. Firstly, it would free up capital so that Liverpool could undergo something of a squad rebuild in the summer, and secondly, it would allow FSG to stay in charge. It is fundamental that Liverpool hit their recruitment goals when the transfer window swings around. And this raises another potential problem. During the period where Liverpool looked like they could be sold outright, it was announced that a couple of individuals integral to the club's recruitment process would be moving on. The news that Julian Ward, the director of football, was leaving came as something of a surprise. His predecessor, Michael Edwards, had only left himself in the summer of 2022. On top of this, it became clear that Ian Graham, the club's director of research, was also leaving his post. It has been announced that Graham is being replaced internally by Will Spearman, who holds a doctorate in physics from Harvard University and who has worked at the European Organisation for Nuclear Research. Spearman has been part of Liverpool's research department for 4 years, which offers some level of continuity to his predecessor. But both Edwards and Graham were fundamental to the successes that Klopp has achieved at Liverpool, meaning there is a huge upheaval at a point in time when the club are entering an incredibly important transfer window. And this transfer window is made more complex by the fact that Liverpool won't simply be looking to refresh their squad. In many respects, the club will have to rethink the way they want to play football going forward. Across the last few seasons, the ongoing debate has been over whether Liverpool will move away from the intense style of play that has seen them succeed under Klopp. This season, they haven't been able to maintain an aggressive press across the field, so is it time to move on to something different? With the club keen on bringing in an elite midfielder in the sort of stratosphere as Jude Bellingham, a player who could command a record fee for a Premier League signing, they cannot afford to go into the market with any lack of clarity about what their game model is. But with all the uncertainty around Liverpool at present, clarity might be hard to come by. So, what does the future of Liverpool look like? It feels like we're at a sliding doors moment. Whilst the likelihood is that the club will weather this current storm and enter a rebuild phase next season, there are a lot of moving parts. Between Jurgen Klopp's immediate future, the ownership situation, the infrastructure behind the scenes, and potential playstyle changes, there has perhaps never been a more uncertain time at Liverpool since Klopp arrived back in 2015.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including David Ornstein, Daniel Taylor, Ollie Kay, Amy Lawrence and Rafa Honigstein. There are journalists dedicated to each Premier League team, and you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.